Hey there, it's Elizabeth Ying tuning in today to talk about 2021's hottest customer trends. If you're joining me today, you're going to be able to walk away with some really awesome insights for how to grow your business online in 2021. 2020 has been such an epic year on so many levels for so many of us personally, professionally, in our business. Pivoting. I think the number one thing I keep hearing from people, customers, students, people that I've been talking to, is all about how 2020 has been about reinvention. What is the 2020 theme for you? Let me know in the comments. While you're typing that into the comments, I am just going to do a quick check here. Let me know, what has 2020 been all about for you? What is that one word? What has your theme for 2020 been all around, all about? Hi there, Lisa Marie. Thanks for joining me. What has 2020 been for you? It looks like I'm working. Awesome. So this is what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to just give you a heads up. This is one of my favorite things. So I have so much that I am trying to just give you during this live stream that it's probably going to be quite a bit. It's going to be a bit. Usually, I'm already a talker to begin with. And so I try to keep these lives to like 30 minutes or less. Today, it might be going for an hour. But I promise you, I've got a lot of really goodies, like all lined up for you. If you're like, Elizabeth, I gotta go, then just go ahead and type handouts in the comments, and then me and my team will send you literally the notes that I'm going through today, my PowerPoint slide deck, so that you have that for reference. And in that, I will have my sources. So if you want to dig a little deeper into some of these customer trends on Facebook or YouTube or Eventbrite, you can definitely do that. The way that I usually love looking at the year, because when I'm working with my clients and my students, I am such a big co-creator. Like, I am here to co-create other people's dreams and businesses and online income streams with them. And so I like to, just take a moment to just take a step back and look at what are the hot customer trends that have happened. And so that I can best serve my students and clients to pivot and really grow their business in 2021, right? So I love what Lisa Marie said here. She said personal strength. So if you're catching this live or on the replay, let me know who's here with me live showing up today. Who is here with me? And I'm just going to go ahead here, just do a quick check. Make sure that I'm where I need to be, in all of these channels, right? So who's excited about today's topic? We are talking about the 2021 hottest customer trends that you should be thinking about if you're not already thinking about. And best of all, I'm going to be synthesizing all of this for you and giving you some really great things to think about in your business for 2021. Okay? Fair warning, I told you already, right? Like, this is my favorite thing. It's all about customer behaviors and decisions and how do we make decisions to grow our business, right? Like, that's what I'm all about. So tell me who's excited for that? Send me some hearts, drop me some hearts here. I want to see those hearts coming through if you want to see more of this and learn more. So if we haven't had a chance to meet yet, I'm Elizabeth Yang. I am the founder of the Customer Yes Lab, and we are a full service one-stop shop for launching your online business income stream, the strategies, the tactics, and best of all, my team builds for you, because my goal is to get you launched in 90 days. I am on a mission, especially with unemployment rates that continue to skyrocket, with 2.2 million women that have left the workforce in 2020 alone due to daycare. I am on a mission to get more diverse entrepreneurs who are purpose-driven launched. I call them my compassionately ambitious entrepreneurs. Are you a compassionately ambitious doer? I hope that you are. So that's what I'm committed to. If I can serve in any way to really just get you launched, your next online income stream, whether it's your next $1 million idea or you're just starting out and looking to start a business. That's what I do. I really love the strategy, the tactics, and I build alongside with you. I build alongside with you because when I first started in launching my business, I was a consultant doing this B2B, business to business, right? I was in corporate America for 10 years doing what I do now, which is all about how to develop and design new products and innovations and look at new business models based on how customers make decisions. That's why I'm all obsessed about customer yeses, right? Yeah, 2.2 million women have left the workforce. So sad for corporate America. We will support and continue to help our women there, but so excited for the entrepreneur world. So excited for the entrepreneur world, okay? I'm going to just put it out there. Because what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, I'm on a ramp now, but tangent now. But in 2021, what I've been looking at, what I'm going to share with you is diversity with just everything, right? So that's really what I'm going to be talking about today. And I am on a mission to get compassionately ambitious entrepreneurs launched. And you're going to know, and you're going to see why, because the data tells us, the data on YouTube, the data on Facebook, the data on Eventbrite. I've looked at so many social media digital trends too, because why am I looking at all of this? Because it's telling us, and I'll share and talk about this in a little bit, it's telling us that after everything that's happened in 2021, from the pandemic to anti-racism to what's been happening with our political landscape, that people are ready for transformation. People are ready to heal. People are ready for escape. Like, people are really ready for just that new chapter going to 2021. And resiliency, I keep going back to that. And reinvention is really the thing for 2020. So many of us were forced, whether or not we wanted to, kicking and screaming, right? We were forced to change our behaviors. We were forced to parent differently. We were forced to work differently. We were forced to grow our business differently. We were forced to generate customer leads differently, right? And as much as many of us go kicking and screaming into all of that, what 2021 I predict is going to teach us, and this is what some of the research shares, is that if you're an employee working from home, going back into the office is going to be tough. You are an entrepreneur owning your business and you have a team and they've been working remotely, it's going to be tough to get people back together. It is. Don't get me wrong. Like, we all still need the in-person interactions, but the key here is that we need to really start thinking, reimagining what this new wave future looks like, right? So, tell me where you are watching in from. I always love to hear and see where people are tuning in from. So let me know where you're tuning in from. So today I'm going to geek out a little bit, but I'm going to keep it real with some tough love with just what does that mean to your business, right? So I am an optimistic person, right? But I also try to complement that by keeping things really real, especially when I need to wear my business hat, right? And you have to excuse me, I have a cold here too. So, so Phyllis here says that she is from Winthrop. Let me just turn on my light here. So I have the standing desk here, and every time that I forgot to put it on lock, go up or down, my light that's attached to the USB, it also just turns off, right? So Lisa Marie is in New Hampshire. Miley is in Wisconsin. All right. Oh, welcome. Yes, Wisconsin. We got West Coast and East Coast in the house, right? Or excuse me, Midwest. All right. So let's talk about let's start looking at the trends. And as I'm narrating this, I'm not going to go, there's so many exciting things happening right now with the hottest 2021 customer trends. But I focused on, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I focused on these 3 areas, right? I focused on Facebook because as much as we love and hate Facebook, and as much as there are new social media platforms that are coming out, Facebook continues to be the big player, right? The big domino player. And so if you've already saturated or mastered your Facebook platform channel, then I think it's a great idea to start looking at other channels. But if you haven't quite yet mastered it, Facebook is where you want to be, right? Facebook is where you want to be. The second reason why I started looking at YouTube is that the customer behavior on YouTube is very different, right? Not only is the content and format and things like that different on YouTube, but I want you to think about it, right? When we're a business owner and we're selling online. So on Facebook, everything is driven by ads. Facebook is really focused on, obviously advertisements and wanting to go and then, targeting your audience based on audience lookalikes, based on keywords, right? YouTube is very fascinating in that when people go to consume on YouTube, they are literally doing like a keyword search, right? So they're going onto YouTube very intentional to consume certain types of data, right? And so the magic with YouTube is just trying to be, one of the top search engine searched, what am I trying to say here? To optimize your search engine searches on YouTube. So you're basically on that first list, right? So that's why I wanted to bring insights into YouTube in here too, right? And then the third thing that I looked at was like Eventbrite. It's not a social media platform. So you might be thinking, Elizabeth, why did you look at Eventbrite, right? I looked at Eventbrite because it is still very much an online event if you will, curator, right? So it's not necessarily social media, but it's where people go to find events, right? Outside of just Facebook it's like the next channel to go to when you're looking for very specific events. And clearly most of them could be in person or virtual. But I found Eventbrite very interesting. And I'll share that with you because as you know, 2020 is all about reinvention and resilience this year for many, many of us. And I want you to just hold this prayer, blessing, whatever you want to call it, in your heart as we're going through this. I hope that what you're going to walk away with is inspiration of the possibilities and not walk away with feeling overwhelmed, right? Let me say that again. I hope that what you're going to walk away with after watching this is inspiration full of possibilities for you. Okay? Inspiration full of possibilities for you. The world needs you, and the data proves it. Okay? The data proves it. Okay? If you're feeling overwhelmed, that's okay. I actually, in what I'm going to share with you today, if you hang in there with me, is really a game plan to really resilient proof and and ensure that your business is soaring in 2021. So I have the overwhelmed built into your game plan. Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. If you're gonna grow in your business, you gotta be overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means you're stretched, right? Like I want you to just imagine a rubber band, right? When it's fine, it just doesn't stretch, right? It just sort of sits there. But when you need to hold something together, when you need to use your rubber band to hold something together and make it work, you gotta stretch it. You gotta stretch it. You gotta stretch it in order to make it work. And you, my friend, are gonna feel overwhelmed because you will be stretched. You will be stretched. The key is to make sure that we don't break that rubber band, and that's where burnout comes in, right? But if you are not feeling overwhelmed, you're underwhelmed. And if you're underwhelmed, I am a big believer that you're just not challenged. You're not gonna get to that next level. Are you with me? Are you with me on this? Send me some hearts if you're hearing this. Drop me some fires in the comments, right? And if, again, you gotta go, just type handouts in the comments and my team and I will get my notes out to you, right? So that's my wish. That's my hope for you, that as we're going through this, that you are going to walk away inspired, full of possibilities, and not overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is okay. I can live with overwhelmed. I can live with overwhelmed, right? So the first thing that we're going to dive into, I'm going to, really jump back and forth with YouTube, Eventbrite, and Facebook, because really I want to make sure that you're seeing this not simply as a channel trend report or conversation, but customer behavior. Like the way people are making decisions, doing things, how it's shifted. That's the key. Because if you can understand how your dreamy customer has shifted his or her behavior, that's where you can start to build and go where they're at. Okay, and this is true. I teach, I often talk about that our human desires, any human of us, like any of us, there's happiness, right? We all want happiness. Who doesn't want happiness? You tell me who doesn't want happiness. Do you want happiness? If you want happiness, type happiness in the comments, right? If you want happiness, there's usually 5 areas, right? It's usually beauty, passion, relationships, wealth, and health. Did I say that? Let me try that again. Beauty, passion, relationships, wealth, and health. Those are the 5 core universal human areas that when we seek happiness, it's usually one of those 5 areas, right? And usually when I'm working with my clients, what I do is we look at what I call the emotional currency, right? I'm all about making things results-oriented and tangible and quantifying emotions. Like even mindfulness, I can put a number on it. Even something soft like confidence, I can put an emotional currency on it, right? But ultimately, we start from these 5 aspirations. I call them your aspirations. These are the 5 core things that every single one of us, when we're pursuing happiness or joy or whatever that is, right? Phyllis says, yeah, she wants happiness. I want happiness, right? It's usually around these 5 areas. So as a service provider, when you think about beauty, what does that look like? This is why for me, people often say to me, Elizabeth, who are your ideal customers? And I say, I usually work with service providers and e-commerce. It doesn't really matter because the customer mindset in business, it's all the same. Like it's all the same. The psychology's like maybe the tactics might be different, but the psychology of how people decide is still the same, right? So if you're in the space of delivering and focused on beauty, that could look like, let me put my fingers down, right? That could look like skincare. That could look like jewelry. That could look like, so we're still in the space of beauty, okay? That could look like makeup, right? Clothes, beauty products, right? All of that is in the space of beauty, right? And it's just not women, it's men too. There's this uptrend of men and beauty, right? Second, health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, right? Like all of that in the space of health. And then wealth is all about real estate investment, finance, bookkeeping, insurance products, right? So that's all in the space of, hey, I want to have more wealth somehow, right? And then relationships, parenting, kids, like finding my true love, marriage, divorce, dating, spirituality, right? All of that is all about relationship, and even self-love, your own relationship with you is all about relationship, right? So that just tells you right there that as human beings, we are all about connection. And as we take a deep dive into the customer trends, you're going to see that. You're going to see that. And then lastly, passion and contribution, right? How do I feel alive? This is where pet coaches come in. Your pet makes you feel alive. This is where gardening comes in. This is where, I don't know, like anything that you could think of that has to do with hobbies, passion, contribution that comes in. It's really about how do I feel alive again, right? So when people ask me, Elizabeth, I don't know what my zone of genius is, right? I don't know. Do you think this is going to sell? Do you think anyone is going to buy this? If I can fit any of what you want to do in those 5 core areas, my answer is yes, right? Give me a pet coach, right, that charges $100, and I can find another one that charges 10 times that. Give me a health and wellness coach that is struggling to make ends meet and can't seem to find a paying client, and I can find a coach that's in health and wellness that has a $10,000 program, right? So this limiting belief that you might have around who and what people will pay for, just park that outside, right? Not will they, it's how will they pay for it, right? Like I want you to shift that, right? So are you loving this? Are you loving this? Let me know. Drop me some hearts in the comments and let me know if you're loving this, right? All right, so let me just go ahead and I'm going to kick us off with this because, again, if you want the links to all of my sources, hit me up with handouts in the comments and I'll go ahead and share that, okay? So I'm going to play this because I want you to see, this is from YouTube, right? What's happening right now on YouTube. I find this fascinating. I'm going to play 2 videos. They're really quick. That's why I said today it's going to be probably less than it's going to be about an hour. I'm going to keep it real with you because this is some really good stuff and you're getting the digest version, right? So, all right, I'll quit talking now. Let's play this.
YouTube's culture and trends team. We track trending and popular phenomena on the platform and compiled this report, which provides a global view of the current state of digital culture as told through the most interesting trends that we've studied lately on YouTube and off. From the intellectualism of chess tutorials and live streams.
I gotta go for the most beautiful checkmate of all time with the knights.
To the mysticism of modern witchcraft influencers.
Today I thought I'd share with you a simple way to add witchcraft to your everyday.
To the sublime gloriousness of a person dressed as Sasquatch playing the saxophone. That was the Saxquatch, and we actually won't be spending much time exploring that one, except for right now. We decided to produce this report because this is an unusual and important moment to examine in the history of pop culture. The past year or so has felt like a tangible point of change driven by larger external events in the world around us. Every day, our global team of experts monitor developing trends all over the world. This report is built on data analysis and insights from their work as well as news surveys that we conducted with Ipsos.
All right, so I'm going to stop that there. You can watch this, but this is I'm laughing as I'm showing this to you because, again, I want you to look at this from a lens of possibility of what this means in your business, right? I'm going to jump to the next video real quick because I think this really sets the stage for the conversation that I want us to have today around the hottest 2021 customer trends and how to plan for it in your business, okay?
Hi, I'm Kevin Alaka of YouTube's culture and trends team. We track trending and popular phenomena on the platform.
Oh, let me try that again. It didn't work.
Which provides a global.
It's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. So let me just jump to that one. This is the one that I wanted to show. Okay. This is a new age of creators, and I want you to keep this in mind as we're watching this. Because this is really powerful. When you're saying, I wonder if my customers are online, this is really what I want you to keep in mind.
I'm a culture and trends manager for the Asia Pacific region at YouTube. And if this year's taught us anything, it's that the telling of stories is every bit as important and powerful as the consuming. With global lockdown measures restricting our access to other people, the desire to produce content about our lived experience and the things we care about has skyrocketed. More than ever, it feels like the creator archetype, what we think a creator should be, should look like, or should make content about, has broadened and evolved to meet an audience more receptive to a diversity of stories and storytellers. Take, for example, the idea that seniors don't make videos people want to watch. Well, actually, they do, and we've seen as much in countries as diverse as Mexico, Germany, and Korea. Are we still rolling? Or nobody wants to hear beauty creators talking about grisly murders. Well, as it turns out, people do. They really do. US beauty blogger Bailey Sarian gained enormous popularity this year when she combined traditional beauty content with true crime commentary.
It's murder, mystery, and makeup Monday.
So nervous, genre conventions and the lines between them are all breaking down. A lot of people say their favorite online creators can be difficult to categorize into just one genre. I mean, today we see unboxing videos meet ASMR, and math meet comedy.
That is some spooky vibe.
But part of this is also a question of technology. The continued improvement and proliferation of digital tools such as camera phones has democratized storytelling. In America,
So I'm going to just pause that here, right? I'm not going to play you the whole video, but I wanted to play you a clip of what's happening on YouTube. And I want to talk about how this benefits your business. So everyone is now online, right? Like the new age of creators. I mean, you saw that. You have elderly people now online. And I want you to think about this for yourself, right? You even got grandma on Zoom, right? Like you've even got grandpa on Zoom now, right? So the limiting belief that it's hard to find your customers or not on social media, it's not true. Everyone is on social media. Now, the beauty of what you saw a clip into, and I'll give you a synopsis of the trends. And if you want to, again, if you want a handout of my notes with these links so that you can dive deeper into this, just type handout in the comments and my team and I will be sure to get that to you. Is the beauty of this is that because there isn't just one genre anymore, one type, like the beauty blogger who talks about mystery crimes, the beauty of this is that you get to show up as your unique strength. You don't need to be anyone else. The louder that you are you online in your business with your brand, the more you stand out. You get to be you, just louder. Let me say that again. You get to be you, just louder. That is unique. That is beautiful. That is a strength. And that, my friend, is a differentiator in your business. So the limiting belief that you, one, can't find your customers online, two, that you might be too old to be online, right? Or you're not technically savvy enough. Like, no, it doesn't work. Like, take that voice and tell the shh, be quiet, next, right? So that is the one thing that I want you to think about when you're thinking about YouTube. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of the highlights here on what is trending on YouTube, because this is going to be so powerful as you start thinking about where and how you want to show up, right? So let me just blow this up a little bit, right? So here's my synopsis of YouTube. Right? So everyone is online. Storytelling is getting more and more diverse. This means, again, that you get to uniquely be you. You get to show up in your strengths, right? And that is going to be your key differentiator in your business. Now, what's the flip side of that? The flip side of that is there's going to be a whole bunch of new learning curves for you. Remember how I told you that like a rubber band, you're going to need to be stretched, right? You're going to need to be a storyteller, whether that's writing or video or doing lives, right? You're also going to have to be really self-aware and very clear about what your strengths are if you don't already know what that is, all right? Some other trends that are happening inside of YouTube, especially that 2020 has set the stage for, that I think will continue to be a big, big deal in 2021 is interactive experiences. Right? This idea, this hybrid mix of offline, in-person, and online, right? You'll see that as YouTube starts to really evolve their own platform, I mean, you have people that are now, able to join live stream conversations, call in on a toll-free, like on QVC network, to hear hosts talk and join in on their podcast episodes on YouTube. I mean, this is really the type of world that we're living now. It is even more hybrid. It is even more interactive than it has ever been. And that is not going away. If you haven't embraced the online world, it's not going away. It's not going away. All right, so what other two trends do we see in YouTube that I think in 2021 will continue to impact business and growth for you? We saw an increase in humor and creative expression in order for people to cope and adapt to adversity, right? So people were, whether in a humorous way, putting out funny content, right? And either you related to that humor or you didn't. But the nice thing is then you moved on and found the next content or influencer to follow, right? And this is actually really interesting. YouTube saw a rise with videos that were being watched that had the word beginner in it. So if YouTube is your channel and you're doing tutorials or how-tos or talking about that, that is a really great hot tip for you to put the word beginner in your YouTube video channel or your title, because we saw a rise in more people going on YouTube, searching and watching videos that were for beginners. And this is actually really interesting because when I looked at YouTube and I looked at what Facebook was trending, I think you're going to see why. You're going to see why. We're getting into this DIY era, and we're becoming more DIY than we've ever been, right? And it's going to continue to be a huge trend in 2021. Are you loving this? Should I continue? Should I continue? Type some yeses in the comments and send me some hearts if you want me to continue doing this, right? Are you enjoying this conversation? Right? So in your business, nip the limiting belief that not everyone is online. That is not true. Nip any limiting belief that you're too old, you're too non-tech savvy. That is not true. And nip the limiting belief that you need money. Like, of course you need money, but the money that you need is so much less to get started than it has ever been, because technology, like on your phone, is so advanced. There's literally no excuses to get started, my friend. No excuses, right? And the last thing is, again, remembering that if you are not in the online space or you haven't been all in the online space, you need to be all in on the online space. Because when when this passes, those that will be able to do the offline and online efficiently, effectively, those are going to be the ones that will get the more customer yeses. More yeses means what? More sales in your business, right? Are you loving that? Okay. So let's talk about, for YouTube, your business game plan to help you soar. What does that mean to you in YouTube? Okay, and I'm going to break this down and personalize it as we think about each channel, right? And this is why I said to you this is going to be more than just a 30-minute live today, because we're talking about customer trends, hot trends for 2021. So online, you've got to own the power of one. You've got to own the power of one. And what am I talking about with the power of one? One decision, one commitment in your business. I can't tell you enough how many conversations I have with entrepreneurs, whether they're starting up and they have a side hustle, or they're retired and they now are perhaps eager to be challenged again by starting up a new venture, and they have their hands in a couple of different passion projects and they're not really sure like what they want to do with it yet. That wishy-washiness, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't really get started until you make that decision and commit. I'm just going to keep it real with you. When I have conversations with people and they're like, oh yeah, I have been earning $1,000 a month and I just want to get to $10,000 a month, right? What I listen for is, do they have a willingness to commit in their business? Because growing your business to 10K per month or 20K per month, it's not easy. And you can move at whatever pace you want to, but it doesn't matter if you're part-time or full-time, you will always start at step one, just like everyone else. You've got to put the sweat in, right? One decision, committing your business, one customer problem to solve. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that solve multiple problems for either multiple customers or the same customer, but multiple problems. You just need one customer, one problem to solve, right? If you can get your head wrapped around that, your business will soar. Okay? You're spread way too thin. You're solving too many problems. Your messaging, your branding, your marketing, how people perceive you, it doesn't work. Okay? One digital product turned into an irresistible offer with 3 times the value. If you are selling tangibles, if you own an e-commerce store, you're a service provider, you're a real estate investor, you're a pet coach, you are a relationship expert, you are a social seller, you are a nail technician, whatever it is that you do, providing your services, whether it's a product or not, you've got to have one digital product. So I'll give you an example. I have a client right now that is a nail technician, right? And she obviously used to work and provide manicures and do nails. And one of the products that she wanted to start selling was a nail kit that was like $20, right? And we basically took that product, right, and added a nail set. It's a tangible product, $20. And we 25x it. So we went from $20 product to a $500 product by just adding what I call a digital product. And that could be a program, a mastermind, a membership, a course, right? But you gotta add on a digital something to that tangible if you're selling tangible products, right? But you gotta commit to one digital product, turn it into an irresistible offer, because just because you got something to sell, the thing is the product, right? You still got to make it irresistible. And that offer has to have perceived 3 times the value. That's how I can help my client who's selling a nail product for $20 turn around and charge 25 times that at $500. And it's not simply just saying, hey, here's a nail polish. We're just going to erase the price and make it $500. No, consumers are smart. They get it, right? So the power of one, that's the thing, okay? So when it comes to YouTube, what is that for you? Second tip, don't be the smartest person in the room, right? Don't be the smartest person in the room. This is where entrepreneurs, and when you're starting out or you're building your next million, you get stuck. Is if you end up being and feeling like you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Okay, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room because this. We'll talk about 3 in a little bit. But the reason why you don't want to be the smartest person in the room is because then you get caught up in competency, which is I can do it myself. I know I just told you that right now the DIY era is on the rise, right? But as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. If you have to DIY it yourself and feel like you need to be competent and smart in everything that you're doing to build your online business, you are taking way too long, my friend. And speed will be your number one nemesis. Actually, your lack of speed, because then you're going to be caught up in trying to figure out, how do I do an email campaign? How do I set up my course portal? What should my course be? How do I do a podcast? What should my episodes be? You're so busy building all these things, on YouTube. What should my daily content be? How do I edit and upload videos? I don't even know how to edit. Shoot, I don't even know what to say on YouTube. You're constantly trying to figure out all of these new skills to really up your game, right? That you don't actually have an actual product launched into the market to sell. I use this analogy of real estate, right? Flipping your home. You don't make money on a property until it's flipped with the price tag and listed on the market, right? So if you're flipping homes and you're too busy building the rooms and decorating and shopping for appliances, that's fine. If you have money to burn through where you can pay monthly mortgages, right, for that home until you flip it, by all means, take your time shopping for appliances and figuring out how to build your own plumbing and figure out how to build out the own kitchen and build out, do the electricity. Too many entrepreneurs are trying to figure out, how do I flip my business by building it myself? That's like flipping your house and saying you're going to do everything in that house, right? You don't make money on the property until you flip it. You don't make money until the house is done, right? There's flowers on the table. It has a price tag listed on the market. That goes for your business too. So don't be the smartest person in the room. Speed will be your nemesis. You got to say, hey, better done than not. Okay? Lastly, don't be the smartest person in the room, because when you're trying to do all of these different things, right? We're talking about YouTube. We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Eventbrite. There's LinkedIn. There's TikTok. There's a whole bunch of other things that you need that out there, right? And so what happens is you get caught up in all of these different things that you don't have one clear conversion path to the sale. And I call these breadcrumbs, right? Your marketing, your lives, your copy, your emails, your posts, everything that you're doing should be breadcrumbs that you confidently know that you're laying out there that will lead and attract your dreamy customer to come to you to the sale. I call them micro yeses. How do I get a micro yes? How do I leave this breadcrumb and get a micro yes? Micro yes, micro yes, micro yes. Lead to the sale. That is your one clear conversion path. Doing a Facebook Live, hoping and praying someone's going to love you and say yes to you, is not a conversion path. Okay? I'm just going to keep it real. I had one client that I had to gently tell her that, right? Because even though she could do a Facebook Live and she generally would get 2 or 3 sales, I mean, just do the math. You would have to literally do a live every single day to get a sale. And if you're going to grow your business to 6 figures and above, that's a lot of work for just 2 sales a day, right? And we were talking at like price points that were perhaps less than $50 for her product. That is a lot of work. And I said, sister, we got to work smarter, not harder, right? So you got to have one clear conversion path to the sale, breadcrumbs of micro yeses that lead to macro yeses. Are you loving this? If you are, send me some hearts. Say yes. Drop me some emojis. Okay, I gotta see how long I've been doing this, because I can chat forever. All right. So, all right. And then lastly, let's talk about this, right? Like in your game plan, you gotta have support and accountability. I call this your power-up circle. You gotta curate them. Again, this ties back to number 2. Don't be the smartest person in the room. Recognize, humble yourself to know that when you are trying to DIY yourself for everything, it's like trying to be the electrician, the contractor, the plumber, the decorator, the builder, the contractor for that house. That's literally what you're trying to do. And in many ways, saying, I can be smart enough. I'm smart enough. I'm competent. I'm capable, right? And I often say it's not about validation. It's not about how smart you are or that you can figure it out. It's not about that. It's about, do you really want to get to the point where you're making money? Because you don't make money when you're still fixing your house. You make money when it's ready for sale. When you list it and you price it and it's for sale. So if you want to take 6 months to 6 years to flip your house before you put it up to the market, that's on you. Right? But my goal, what I love working with my clients is I get your home flipped, your business home flipped in 90 days. Boom, 90 days. 90 days, right? Because you don't make money when you're building and creating. You make money when you have something, one conversion path that you start selling, marketing, okay? And 3, that's going to be really critical for you as you think about 2021, because your support and accountability is going to be your biggest opportunity to really grow in your business, because you got to curate the right people. I call this your power people. They fuel you up, they power you up to keep going, whether that's coaches, strategists, or tactical executors. You're going to need all 3 of those, okay? Friends and families don't count. I often say they are designed to keep you safe, and that's what they should do. So don't come mad that your family doesn't understand what you do, right? Like, don't be mad about it. Just embrace them for being designed to keep you safe, right? Like, they are designed to keep you safe. And just let them play that role, and surround yourself with a new circle, a new network of what I call your power-up circles that are going to take you to that next level, right? That's going to move you forward. And lastly, under support and accountability for your business plan is your other nemesis is going to be the shiny object syndrome. look, you're going to see by the time I'm done with this live today that for 2021, there's so many possibilities that everything is a shiny object, okay? A shiny object. And that shiny object syndrome is going to be your next biggest nemesis aside next to speed. And that's why I go back to number 2 of having one clear conversion path to the sale based on your strengths. Like I often tell my clients, look, you can do a course, you can write a book, you could do a podcast, you could do a YouTube channel, there's so many things that you could do, right? And I often say to my clients, it doesn't matter where you start, but everything funnels back down to business fundamentals if you really are serious about growing a business and making money with it, right? I'm about skyrocketing purpose and profits, because if you don't make money in your business, how do you continue to serve and sustain your message and get it out to the masses? You cannot, my friend. So one clear conversion path, I often say, should be based on your strengths. Some people are better at video. Some people are better at writing. Some people are better at, I don't know, like being on lives, right? But pick one on your strengths and just get started. But don't get caught up in shiny object syndromes, because you're not trying, if you're following this game plan, you, my friend, are not trying to be the smartest person in the room. Okay? There's something to be said with that. There's something to be said with that. There's a little bit of humbling that needs to happen. There's a little bit of uncomfortableness, fear that comes up. So all of that is normal, but give yourself permission to say, I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. Another way to say that is let yourself be dumb and be completely okay with that. All right? So are you loving this? If you're loving this, drop me, send me some hearts. Let me know that you're still here with me, right? And if you just want the Cliff Notes summary version of my notes, type handouts in the comments. My team and I will get that to you, okay? So that's a game plan for you too. All right, so let's talk about, I'm going to jump around here to Eventbrite, okay? So let's talk about what people are hungry for in Eventbrite. Okay, so for 2020, these were the biggest themes that people were hungry for. And if you want the links to the sources, type handouts and my team will get you the sources if you want to dive into this, okay? So, and for Eventbrite, this is how people were making money. So let me just zoom in here, right? I love it. Sending me some love. Thank you for that, right? So Eventbrite, personal development, right? So what was going on with Eventbrite? Virtual business and professional events reigned supreme in most markets. So what kind of formats worked for Eventbrite? Here's a lot of gold nuggets I hope you can walk away with. I hope you're taking notes. Seminars and talks, classes, trainings, and workshops for Eventbrite were big, right? And so people were going there, again, for personal development and growth, right? And does this not correlate back to what we just saw on YouTube with the number of users going onto YouTube to watch videos for beginners? I mean, ding, 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 connect the dots, right? People are learning, they're growing, right? Entertainment, escapism, that's like my new word, like escapism. It sounds like a new game or something, right? So obviously 2020 was a tough year for many of us. And so people were Eventbrite for entertainment, film, media, visual, and performing arts, right? People were looking to escape, and they were like on average having 2,000 to 4,000 events per month. Now, what I really love about this too, I think, is that artists, right, creators had to reinvent themselves when they could no longer have in-person venues or in-person concerts or large gatherings. And so many of them were online trying to figure out, how do I just make money? How do I just pay the rent? How do I reinvent themselves, right? And then lastly, on Eventbrite, mental health and social justice. This is going to continue to happen in 2021. I think there was this enlightenment that happened in 2020 for many of us around the political landscape, around anti-racism, around privilege, whether it was Black Lives Matter, white privilege, social economics privilege, whatever that is. There was definitely, I think, in 2020, an enlightenment period that happened for people. And looking at the trends and looking at the data and looking at where people were going, I mean, people generally don't seek information to be informed and educated. And I think what Eventbrite taught us, or should be telling us, is that people actually wanted to become informed. They wanted to understand, what is this racism or Black Lives Movement all about? What is going on with this political turmoil that's happening especially in the United States? Why? Right? Why? And what can I do about it? And you'll see that in Facebook, this was also another common trend, was this awareness to action that happened, okay? And then clearly, because of this enlightenment, people, I think in 2021, I predict, will start to take action. They will find their unique strengths. What we saw on YouTube was this hybrid mix, a fusion of people just owning who they were, not quite being, one genre or the other, but really this fusion of cultures and hobbies and interests and topics coming together as a content creator. We will continue to see that in 2021. That's why I'm saying to you, embrace who you are. That's what makes you unique. You just got to do you louder. You hearing me on that? You just got to do you louder, right? So mental health will continue to be a huge trend in 2021. And again, because we're talking about YouTube and we're talking about now everyone is on the space, let me just tell you, I love the fact that I'm seeing so many mental health providers, whether they're intentionally deciding to become entrepreneurs or they've been displaced and need to reinvent themselves for additional income streams. The fact that I'm seeing many more mental health providers, counselors, therapists, psychologists who are now trying to go into the online space to serve and make a difference and create awareness around mental health, I'm so energized by that. I am a big champion of mental health, and to know that the experts, right, the mental health experts, are reinventing themselves and looking to say, how do I do this online to serve more, to heal more? And online is a space to be, because that's where you're going to be able to increase your access, right? All right, so let's talk about for Eventbrite, how people were making money. So 2020 was a year of reinvention, right? I mean, there was one example where we had an educator turned Eventbrite venue promoter, right? So these were some of the things that people were making money on, right? Sports and fitness events, yoga classes, from walkathons to minor league soccer games, right? Film, media, and entertainment, virtual museum tours. People were doing virtual tours and charging a fee, when most of the time when you go to the museum, there is no fee, right? And most importantly, as I mentioned, you started to have people that are, let's say, are in non-business professions, like educators turned promoter, right? So some of the strategies that they were using, that if you are really thinking about how do I continue to make money, is the leveraging the power of guests and hosts, AKA business term, affiliate marketing. And basically how this works is that, especially for artists, right, and followers, if you were a promoter and you had an artist that brought in, again, like a lot of the audiences to that event or to that venue, they would get a certain percentage money back, right? And the beauty is when it's all online like that, with technology, you can track like who's sharing what link and track it back to where that referral came from and pay out, right? So that's how people were using Eventbrite. In 2020, a lot of people were not charging, but by the end of the year, people began to realize that as demand increased for online, people wanted to be online and people started charging for it, right? How many of you are loving this? Let me know in the comments. And if you want any of my notes, just type handout in the comments and I'll be sure to get that to you. So what does this mean to your business game plan, right? So we covered a lot of this already under the YouTube, but let's just talk about what this means to you for Eventbrite. Again, I hope that you're holding this from a lens of inspiration and possibilities, options, and not be overwhelmed. Like, you should be looking at this and saying, Holy crap. There's a huge sea of opportunities online. I need to get my ass there. That's what you need to be saying. All right. So Eventbrite, well, if you're looking at the trends, mental health, media entertainment continues to be big. Personal development continues to be huge with that. So that tells me that if you're an artist or a creator and you haven't been embracing how do I monetize my virtual events, you are behind because everyone else is charging and you're not, right? So let's just keep that real. And so even as an artist or a creator, you've got to stay focused on the power of one commitment, one customer problem to solve. I mean, think about it, right? If you looked at Eventbrite and you were looking at just the uptrend of people wanting more mental health services, I mean, why do people turn to entertainment? Why? It's to relieve stress. Why do people go to love to listen to music and watch Netflix series and watch TV and watch movies and write songs, right? Like in YouTube, one of the uptrends was protest songs, right? So people are creatively expressing themselves, and entertainment is the best way for people to cope, to get through adversity, right? So if you're not monetizing on that, then my friend, you're behind. There's an opportunity there, okay? And even with Eventbrite, you know, again, being consistent with how you're showing up, thinking about how Eventbrite can really be one source of leads for you and one source of income stream for you is key. But let's be real, right? Like, how many events do you need to host per month to hit that revenue goal per month? Right? So this is really where you want to have one clear conversion path to the sale, understand how Eventbrite generates leads for you, and again, leave the breadcrumbs back to the sale, which is your macro yes, right? And then making sure that, again, you are surrounded and you have accountability, right? If you have never done a workshop before, or you've only done it in person and think you can just hop on Zoom and turn on the camera and start doing a workshop, there's a learning curve to that, right? And so you've got to understand, how do I transfer my knowledge into this now offline experience to this online experience? It's not impossible, but this is really where support and accountability and working with someone who can say, what are your strengths? And let me just help co-create this feeling, this experience that you know you've done so well in person. Let's recreate that online. Let's make sure that people, if you're an artist, still walk away inspired just like they would if they came to your venue in person, right? Those experiences you got to pay attention to. You got to pay attention to. I don't think enough people, business owners, creators, pay enough attention to the experience online. It's not simply just turning on camera on Zoom. All right, so lastly, let's talk about the hottest trends, and this is for Facebook. And I'm really excited about this one because if you think about what we've been talking about throughout this whole time on YouTube, as well as Eventbrite, Facebook pretty much sums it up, and this is what I'll leave with today. Right, so these are the 5 hottest trends in rising that you can expect for 2021. Look, the internet connectivity has gone even wider and deeper all around the world. It wasn't just a nice to have before, but I think with COVID, what it's done is the third world countries around the world realized that in order for the economy, the global economy to be stable, they needed to build out the pathways, the infrastructure for internet, right? I mean, COVID literally locked people down from a health crisis perspective. And in order for people to work and make money, you need the internet, right? So what 2020 has accelerated forward is the global access all around the world for people to have connection to the internet. And we saw an increase in remote education, remote employment, and quite frankly, now more people are online more than ever, right? Are you loving this? If you are loving this, type yes into the comments and let me know, right? So what else? What else is happening in 2020 that will continue to be a huge trend for 2021? More home DIY tailoring, right? In 2020, we were forced to be quarantined, and what people started to do, kicking and screaming, right, is they started to ask more of their homes, and they put in more effort to go into their home, whether buying a new home or renovating their current home. They took more effort and they went to greater lengths to tailor their home to the life they really wanted. Right? Now you're working at home and parenting. Your kids are now schooling and at home, right? So renovations went up. And what that started to do was you also saw an increase in new experiences being brought into the home. Travel experiences, virtual museum experiences, all of those things were now being brought into the home. So technology has now enabled us to be able to stream all of that into the home, right? So that is really powerful because for your business, and this is I know people are still kicking and screaming about quarantining and social distancing 2020, but in 2021, because we have invested so much in tailoring our homes, we're going to look for more experiences where the convenience of being at home is what we want, right? And we also saw in 2020, right, an increase in gardening. Oh, it's crazy looking at this trend, and sustainable living, right? A lot of this might have to do with mental health or not going out and buying grocery or living more organically and more sustainably, right? But there was definitely an increase in gardening and sustainable living in 2020. And I expect that in 2021, that is going to continue to rise, right? So what does that mean to you? That means that there is more opportunities if, for instance, you're a course creator to start a course on sustainable living, gardening, right? If you are a tech startup company, right, there's more opportunities to start thinking about how people are behaving and the decisions that they're making that they're saying, yes, let this technology come into my home, and no, I don't want that technology, right? Because this is me back in my tech days, one of the biggest concerns that customers always had was privacy, right? Privacy. And so when you are, and in 2020, that sort of went out the door. We had, not that we didn't care about privacy, but we sort of laxed it up a little bit, right? Because it was like the only way, right? Remember when people started hacking Zoom, and then Zoom had to like beef up their security, especially when Zoom was being used in classrooms with kids, right? So, like these are huge opportunities for you and your business, right? Like innovation comes opportunities. Don't get me wrong, they come with other problems, but I hope that you're looking at this, my friend, and saying, wow, I am so inspired to start up that idea that I've always wanted, to go all in on my business, to, you take a break from retirement and really fund a new idea or a new startup that is going to really serve the masses at a larger level, right? Like, that's exciting for 2021. Are you as excited as I am? Type excited in the comments if you are, right? All right, so let's get through a lot of these. I told you I would talk for more than an hour because we're getting through so much of these hot trends. Oh my gosh, did we not see this in YouTube? Like we saw the grandma that was like gaming on YouTube, and Facebook saw this too. Creative expression at every age, right? This is where I'm at if you're wondering where I'm at, right? What this means is that creativity will be expressed digitally. You'll see an increase in that. That's like graphic designs, using Canva more, editing, whatever that is. That means that however you feel about technology, it's going to be happening in 2021, okay? The nice thing about this is that because creative expression was happening at every age, we also saw an increase in personalization and handmade items, handmade jewelry, personalized t-shirts, personalized, what were some of the things that I saw? Like personalized jewelry, handmade jewelry, personalized shirts, like things that really were unique to the people, that were meaningful. So they're looking for quality, personalized, handmade things that are coming out of people's homes. So that's a huge opportunity if you are a creative person. And lastly, an increase in multi-generational conversations. We saw that on YouTube, right? With the grandpa, I think they showed like the clip of the grandpa in Mexico talking about making food, the grandma in Korea, the grandma gaming. I don't know if that was Germany or Sweden or something, right? But we also know that on Facebook, right, in order to keep in touch with our loved ones, we definitely saw an increase in elders being on Facebook, or at least in Facebook groups, and having a caregiver walk them through just how to navigate, so that we can keep in touch with them, right? So that we can have conversations with them, so that we can help fill that void of loneliness, as many of us went through, right? So multi-generation conversations happening on Facebook. Okay, so again, no excuses that your audience, your customers are not online. They are online. They are online. Everyone, 2024 is just kicking and screaming to be online. Whether or not, right? Whether or not we wanted it, everybody is online. All right, let's talk about number 4. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite. I have to tell you. We saw an increase in self-education and self-compassion. Holy guacamole. Like, that just lights me up. And as we saw it on YouTube, we saw it on Eventbrite, and now we're seeing it on Facebook, right? An increase in people wanting to be informed and educated to move from an awareness to action, which means that we also saw an increase in storytelling, right? So that's huge. That's huge, because that tells me that more people want to be educated, more people want to do better, right? Wherever they are in that spectrum of the political landscape, that spectrum of racism, that spectrum of privilege, that spectrum of equality, wherever they are in that spectrum, people want to be educated. We have not seen that before. 2020 proved to have that be the case, right? And because of that, more people got online and told stories, right? And what that led to was, I think, as I mentioned to you, 2020 being a year of enlightenment, I think, and this is where the self-compassion comes in, and I love that Facebook put this in there, was that people started to empathize, because sometimes we don't see our own blind spots, right? You don't recognize the privilege that you have until it's like, sometimes like you're blinded by it. You're blinded by it until something happens that forces you to like snap out of it and be like, oh my God, I've been privileged. Oh my God, like that's a blind spot. We all have them, right? And so there was an increase of self-compassion. And that's why for 2021, I predict that in 2021, it will be a year of more people being online who are seeking healing, who want diverse service providers, right? And I mean that through gender preference, ethnicity, social economics, someone that looks like me that gets me, right? So that's really what that's all about. And I love the fact too that we saw an increase in joy of reading coming back. People just reading like books again, and I think a lot of that was probably balancing out social media and being online, right? So that's huge for us as an opportunity for us to really think about, what does that start to look like? And microbytes. This was a huge trend that we started to see, especially with the Gen X, is that we started to see that even corporations were starting to take information and micro bite-size that down. Podcasts were like less than 5 to 10 minutes. Right? And that's going to be a huge trend for 2021, especially if you're working on a course or a podcast, is how can I keep it shorter, more concise, and to the point? Because people are consuming information at a much, much faster rate. And they want to get to, how do I move from awareness to action as quickly as possible? That's key. And then 5th, alternative wheel experiences. This was such a fascinating one. We saw in 2020 in Facebook that there was an increase in car travel experiences. Renting cars went up. The need to bike went up. This created new experiences for us, right? We saw an increase, and we'll continue to see an increase in what they're calling hybrid shopping, right? Think about it, right? You go into your mobile app or you go online to order at Target, you do curbside pickups. They saw an increase in Germany of concerts being held, and people could sit in their car, park somewhere and enjoy the concert, right? So 2020 literally innovated alternative wheel experiences, people renting bikes to explore more, which is great. They're more healthy and active, and really travel. I just combined car travel there. Car travel experiences, and really most importantly, hybrid shopping. And Australia is actually really interesting because Australia is actually leading on this because Australia, just given where it is geographically, it's really hard to get shipments in, right? And so what we started to see in 2020 was really this hybrid of ordering online and then going and driving up to pick up something. So this idea of online switching to offline, I want you to keep that in mind for your business, because if you're not asking yourself, how do I switch easily from offline to online? If you are an e-commerce store and you're ordering things and you're having to worry about people shipping things and packages getting stolen, or maybe you're a brick and mortar shop and now you've been thinking about how do I sell online or with my e-commerce store, like that whole integrated hybrid shopping experience, that's not going away in 2021, right? And so it's going to take some time for you to figure that out. It's going to take some time to work through some of those kinks and learning curves to find a model that's efficient and effective for you that works. So if you're not doing that already, you got to get onto that bandwagon. You got to get on to innovating and modernizing your business to start doing that, right? So that's going to be really key. And then lastly, as we begin to wrap up, here are some random fun bonuses that I think you're going to find interesting, right? We saw an increase in cycling shorts, and tie-dye shirts. It was just so random, but it must be the comfort of being in your cycling shorts, and then tie-dye shirts, right? So again, this whole experience of creating together, maybe with the family, and then wearing your creation was huge. Again, going back to creative expression at every age, number 3 here, right? With personalization and homemade items. And then longer beards, more men embracing longer beards. That was a random fun fact. And lastly, more gray hair and longer hair for both men and women. So, I mean, these are some really exciting opportunities as you think about 2021. So what does this all mean to you as I begin to wrap up today? I know that we went through a lot. We covered 3 distinct platforms on social media, and we talked about the customer trends, right? But this is really your 3 things I want you to stay focused on for your business game plan in order to soar, right? Let me just do this as we wrap up the live today. 1, stay focused on the power of 1. 1 commitment, you got to be all in. Right? As you probably saw, there's a lot of huge, great opportunities right now for 2021 with the hot customer trends that are happening across education, personal development, wealth building, health, right? And so you got to have 1 decision. You got to play all in. Don't dabble. Be committed. 1 customer problem to solve, not solving multiple problems for the same customer, but truly 1 customer, 1 problem. Because if you can master that, that's how you're going to build your first 6-figure online income stream. And once you master that to 6 to 7 figures, right, then you're going to have money coming in consistently every month to be able to do other things. And so oftentimes people get so distracted with coming up with all these really great ideas because we tend to come from a place of creation and we're constantly creating new things. And what happens is we're spending so much energy creating. Just like if you bought a property and you're trying to DIY the electricity, the plumbing, the contracting, doing the kitchen, all of that, you're not making money. The faster you flip your house, put it on the market with something to sell, that's when you make money, right? So that's the power. And then the power of 1, again, even if we think about Facebook, whether you're selling tangible products, brick and mortar, or you're service oriented where you're consulting and having to do one-on-one, you've got to have 1 digital product, 1 digital program, something that is online that I literally can package it up and turn it on and it will run on itself, okay? You've got to have 1 online product or program to complement whatever services that you're doing, whether it's tangibles or in person. That's going to be the biggest differentiation. All the trends that I just shared with you across YouTube, Facebook, and Eventbrite talks about the hybrid experience. The hybrid experience is customers wanting to go from offline to online and still expecting seamless service and a seamless, amazing experience. And those that keep up with this, that build towards that, that work towards that, will be ahead. Right? We just know that there's a learning curve to tech builds. There's a learning curve to our own skills and development and growth, right? So stay focused on that. And remember that not only do you need a digital product, but you got to turn that into an irresistible offer that is 3 times the value. I know. But if you want to make money online, that's really the way to go. I'm just keeping it real, right? Second, don't be the smartest person in the room. Trying to DIY everything yourself is like saying, I'm competent, I know I'm capable, I know I'm smart, I can figure this out. No doubt in my mind that you are competent and that you are smart. But let's not be the smartest person in the room, because speed or the lack of speed will be your biggest nemesis to making money in your business in 2021. And I want you to be out there focused in one lane, which is your zone of genius, which is in your strengths, right? Because that's where you're going to make money. Because that's when passion lights up. That's when you can serve at your highest self. That's when you make customers go, yes, yes, because you can relate. Because you're in your strengths. You're in your zone of genius, right? How many of you imagine the possibility of doing that for your business when you're in your zone of amazing strengths? So don't be the smartest person in the room, right? And it's better to be done than not, because you're never really done. You'll come back. Right? So, and then lastly, again, don't be the smartest person in the room by trying to figure out everything. Work smarter. Have one clear conversion path that leaves breadcrumbs of micro yeses that lead to the sale, which is the big macro yes, right? Do it intentionally. Do it on purpose. Be on purpose. Don't throw spaghetti on the wall and hope and pray. We want you to hit consistent 5 to 6 figure income. Okay. And then lastly, surround yourself with support and accountability that will keep you focused on your one clear conversion path, not shiny object syndrome, right? Which is your other nemesis. So many possibility out there, right? But consistency in everything you do in your business is how you're going to hit your 6-figure to 7-figure income stream. Okay. Hands down. Consistency. You don't even have to be the best, just consistent. You'll outdo your competition. And curate the power-up circles of coaches, strategists, and tactical people to execute with you, right? So that, my friend, is your game plan to soar in 2021. Take advantage of how people have shifted their lives in 2020, kicking and screaming and celebrating, so that in 2021, right, as people have gone through this transformation of enlightenment, kicking and screaming, right, of resiliency and reinventing themselves in 2020, 2021 will be the year of action. And the data, the trends tell us so, right? They tell us so. So as I wrap up today's live, did I not promise you that we would be about over an hour, because I have so much goodies that I wanted to share with you. If you just want the digest version of my summary notes, hit me up in the comments, type handouts, and my team and I will get that out to you. But I hope that you're walking away with this amazed by possibilities, amazed by the fact that there is so much possibility out there right now that you have an advantage to be online. You have the advantage to be online, to serve with your greatest self, to make the biggest impact that you're going to ever be able to make, to have the greatest reach, because globally, the infrastructure for internet access is continuing to be built. It's continuing to grow. You are going to have one of the broadest, greatest reach around the world that you've ever had before. That is the possibility of your potential. That is the possibility of the purpose that you want to make, right? A profitable business is just the vehicle. It's just the means to the end for you. And my mission is to help compassionately ambitious entrepreneurs stay focused on working at the right thing at the right time to serve, right? I honestly love co-creation because I just want my clients to do what they do, leave the tech build to me and my team, leave the shiny object syndrome to me, right? Leave the stress to me. Let's just turn those customer yes into happy sales without the tech overwhelm, without stress, and without sleaze, right? Because the data this year, the customer trends have told us this year, 2021, is going to be a year of action. It's going to be a year of taking this whole breath of 2020 enlightenment and awareness to that next level. Right? It's taking the creative expression of creators at every age, right? From young kids who want to be influencers all the way to grandmas and grandpas who are now doing their own YouTube channel across every language, right? Fusing all the different genres and hobbies that they're really passionate about, right? To make that impact in 2021. I hope that you are hearing me loud and clear on that message. Your unique strengths is going to be your differentiator. You being you, just louder, just consistent, is going to make the difference. And you being committed all in, betting on you, is going to be your biggest differentiator that's going to make your business soar in 2021. All right, so I am out, friends. This was such a great conversation for us to be in today. You know, I get so psyched up on 2020 on, well, just customer trends, but looking back at 2020, seeing where me and my clients are going in 2021, seeing where you're going to be going in 2021, I hope that you're going to take advantage of the opportunities that have presented itself in 2021 and pivot and make that commitment to bet on yourself, bet on your business, and go all in, because it is not going away anytime soon. All right, so with that, I am out until next week. Join me again on Tuesdays at 12 for some tasty yeses. And let's continue to go out there, move and shake things, and make that impact in the world. I'm out.